Hi, welcome to the Pet Meadow channel. I'm Erin, this is Mia, this is Max, and today we're going to talk about why I feed these guys a raw diet. Just as a little disclaimer, this information in the video is not intended to override any medical information you've received from a veterinarian. So, why do I feed these guys a raw diet? Let's go back, way back. Some of the first few jobs I had as a teenager was working in vet clinics. I spent about 10 years working at various vet clinics. Even when I went on to a career in cubicle land, I continued to work part-time at veterinary offices because I really enjoyed being around the animals. I sat in on nutrition seminars put on by IMS and Science Diet. I fed my cats Science Diet. I fed them the best thing that I knew that was out there at that time. Everybody was really healthy, so I didn't think beyond what I knew at the vet clinics. About 16 or 17 years ago, a dog was turned into one of the vet clinics I was working at, a little miniature pinscher puppy. His name was Samson, and he had horrible diarrhea. I went ahead and fostered him while we were trying to figure out his medical problems. And we put him on every type of food that all the veterinary offices supplied. We put on every kind of medication, and it didn't matter. He had 0 normal stools his entire life. He looked horrible. He was skin and bones. We just could not get him over the diarrhea. One of the gals that worked at the vet clinic put her dog on a raw diet because he had horrible skin allergies. She put him on it as a last resort as well, and he did awesome on it. So I thought, well, what do I have to lose? He had his first raw meal one evening, and the next morning he had his first normal stool of his entire life. I raw fed him, and he was completely fine after that. He put on a bunch of muscle, he looked incredible, and eventually he was adopted out to a home that would continue feeding him a raw diet. After Samson's incident, I started to take a step back and go, well, what is with this raw diet? And my logical brain started looking at cats going, well, why am I feeding them something that's got grain in it? They're supposed to be in the wild eating bugs and lizards and rodents and birds. That doesn't really look like what's in this food that I'm feeding at all. So after doing lots of research about raw feeding cats, I went ahead and converted my 2 cats at the time, which was Dexter and Cosmo. Dexter was only a couple years old. I think Cosmo was about 3 or 4. They did awesome. They were fairly healthy before, but once converting them to raw, they gained weight, and it was all muscle. They shed a little bit less, and they became more active. So it was obvious we were going down the right path. Then along came Bayou. He was my first Bengal. If you've watched Pet Meadow for a while, you know there's a lot of videos of Bayou out there. He was actually dumped at a shelter, and they were going to euthanize him because they thought he had a potty problem. Luckily, a Bengal rescue picked him up, and they were looking for a foster, and I signed up. And well, I walked in, and within 30 seconds, I knew that Bayou was never going to leave our house. So when he came home on the diet that the rescue had him on, which was a grain-free, actually really good food. And he had a hacking cough that he would do every once in a while. I converted him over to raw, and lo and behold, the hacking went away immediately. It looked like he was probably nauseous from the food he was on, the commercial food. So that was it. We were all on raw, and we haven't looked back since. No matter the work involved, even though there is a bit more than the commercial diet, I will never go back. I am dedicated, and after watching my animals thrive so well on it, I just couldn't take that step back for them. If you really think about cats and their history, you can understand why raw makes a lot more sense for them. Cats have really only been on a commercial diet for the last 50 to 75 years. Unfortunately, evolution of a digestive tract does not happen in 50 to 75 years. So we've taken an animal that was an obligate carnivore and put them on a very high starch, high grain type diet for convenience and low cost. It doesn't really make sense. Cats are obligate carnivores. That means they have to eat meat. There are actually a couple nutrients that they can only get from eating meat. You cannot make a cat a vegetarian. Their teeth and their tongue were designed to eat meat. They have no salivary amylase, which is a digestive enzyme released in the mouth that starts the digestion of starchy products. Humans have it, dogs have it to some degree, cats have 0 of it. They weren't meant to digest those type of items. They have a high acid content stomach, which helps them handle the bacterial loads of the raw meat that they're eating and also helps digest the bone. They have a short digestive tract because it doesn't take very much to digest the high protein diets that they were designed for. Most of their food is in and out in 12 to 24 hours. Look at, say, something like a gorilla who has to digest a lot of fiber. They have an extremely large torso and abdomen because they have a very long digestive tract to try and digest those type of things. But if you look at a cat, they have a very short, compact digestive tract, which keeps them sleek and athletic, which also allows them to chase their prey. Yes, it is easier to feed a commercial diet than a raw diet, but with a lot of planning and preparation, it isn't as bad as you think it is. I've committed to it for 16 years, which is one of the few things that I've committed to that long, 100%, other than maybe my marriage. Another reason I continue to feed raw is because I have Bengals. I've come to find out that they're very prone to stomach problems, especially on a commercial food. Probably because they're very closely related to a very wild cat, an Asian leopard cat. So a lot of people who have Bengals have learned how to feed raw just to help manage stomach issues. So now you know why I feed raw. It makes logical sense to me. I've had a lot of success with it over the last 16 years. And no matter how much of a headache it can be, it's worth it. Because, well, these guys, you know. This is the first installment on a series of videos on how to feed your cat raw. There's no way I can do this all in one video, and there's no way I can summarize all the information out there into these videos. I'm hoping to give you a good overview so you can make an educated decision on what you want to feed your animal. While raw feeding is not for everybody, consider feeding a high quality, high protein, grain-free diet to your pet if you can. But if you would like more information on raw feeding, click up here for more information on the recipe we feed our crew, or click down here for information on how we prep the food every couple of months. Thanks for watching. If you'd like more information like this, or you just want to watch the Bengals more, please subscribe. We upload videos all the time. Thank you.